Alright, Marvel fans, this is not a drill. Kevin Feige just gave one of his most honest interviews yet, and it basically confirms everything we've been suspecting for the last year. The MCU is changing big time. He sat down with Variety and dropped some wild updates about Blade, Spider-Man, Kang, Doctor Doom, and yeah, the reboot that's not really a reboot. So let's break it all down. First off, the Kang situation. So Feige says there were already plans to move on from Kang before Quantumania even dropped. They were already talking to Robert Downey about playing Doctor Doom. Now look, I'm not saying he's straight up lying, but let's be real. If Quantumania had made $1 billion and people loved Kang, none of this would be happening. This feels like Marvel rewriting history to make the pivot look intentional. I mean, we saw them set up Kang for years with Loki, Ant-Man 3, and post-credit scenes, all of it. And now they're just like, yeah, we never really saw him as the next Thanos. No, come on, that was the plan. They just changed directions once things started falling apart. But hey, if that pivot gives us Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, I'll allow it this once. Let's move on to Blade. So Blade was announced in 2019. It's 2025 and we're still waiting. Feige admitted they had 4 different versions of the script, including 2 set in the 1930s, but now they've decided to go modern day. He even said, and I quote, "We didn't want to just put a leather outfit on Mahershala Ali and have him start killing vampires." Honestly, that's kind of a flex. After years of rushing scripts into production, they're finally slowing down and trying to get it right. And thank God, because Blade is too important to mess up. Feige basically admitted they've made that mistake in the past, starting to film without a final script. But with Blade, they're not doing that. This is what Marvel needs right now, is tight writing, no more filler, just clean, focused storytelling. Now let's talk about what's really going on behind the scenes, the future of the MCU. So Feige confirmed that after Avengers Secret Wars, we're getting a reset. Not a reboot, according to him, but a reset of the timeline. One universe, streamlined stories, fewer shows, fewer movies, more quality. And yeah, new actors will take over these classic roles. He literally said X-Men is where that will all happen. So the multiverse is wrapping up and the new era starts post-Secret Wars. That means we're likely getting a fresh cast for characters like Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, maybe even Iron Man and Cap down the line. Personally, I think it's the right call. Marvel's been doing too much too fast. The Disney Plus shows, the constant crossovers, it's been overload. Even Feige admitted it. He said the Marvels flopped because audiences felt like they had homework. People didn't know Kamala Khan or Monica Rambeau because they hadn't watched the shows. That's why now they're pulling back just to 1 to 3 movies a year. 1 live action show per year, and that's a huge shift. But here's the part that got me hyped. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Feige said this next movie is all about Peter just being Spider-Man. No multiverse, no Avengers level threats, just street level Spidey doing his thing. And guess what? John Bernthal's Punisher is showing up. And that's fire. We're finally getting the grounded Spider-Man story fans have been asking for. Marvel wanted to go small. Sony wanted to go big. And it looks like Marvel won the fight. Finally. That means we're about to see Spider-Man in his prime. No more Iron Man tech. No more training wheels. Just Peter Parker, broke, unknown, swinging through the city, trying to survive. This is the Spider-Man era we have been waiting for. So now let's touch on TV. So Feige said they're cutting it back to just 1 live action series per year. And personally, I think that might be a mistake. 2021 was peak Marvel TV with Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye. What If? They all hit hard. The problem wasn't quantity, the problem was quality. If the writing's good, the show works. Feige needs a Kevin Feige for TV. Someone who can oversee Marvel Television the way he oversees the movies. That way we still get shows like Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, but without the mess of constant crossovers. Let the shows breathe. That's what made the Netflix era so good. Now, real quick, what happens to the OG characters? Well, Feige hinted that the new actors will eventually take over legacy roles. And I'm all for it. Look, I love Downey and Evans. They're legends. But these characters are bigger than the actors. Iron Man, Cap, Wolverine, they're modern mythology. They're meant to be recast and reimagined over time. Give Anthony Mackie his shine as Cap, then bring back Steve Rogers with a new actor later on. Same with Tony Stark. Keep Hugh Jackman for Secret Wars, let him go out with a bang, and then pass the torch to a new Wolverine. So honestly, I'm pumped for this next era. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, that's the Marvel I grew up on. And it's starting to feel like they're finally clearing the clutter so they can focus on telling actual stories again. This could be the comeback we've been waiting for. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is Marvel back on track? Are you hyped for the reset? Should they bring back Steve Rogers and Tony Stark? And is RDJ really the right guy for Doctor Doom? If you're still watching, you're a real one. Hit that like, smash subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.